welcome to the first ever review on the channel on That Group of Goons. We are joined by Liam, Coleman, Aidan.
Before we get into this,
Yeah.
I want to address the cinematic elephant in the room. Now,
Garfield the movie.
everybody here, boycott Garfield, hashtag not our Garfield. But I remember when this trailer dropped, it was
Yeah.
about 5 months ago. And everybody, if you look in the comments and in the community, everyone was saying, oh my God, it's a green screen disaster. Look how bad the CGI is. George Miller, they've gone south. They've ruined what made Fury Road so good.
I was one of them motherfuckers. Because I saw it and I was like, man, it looks like there's a lot of green screen.
And I'm glad you bring that up, because here's a fun fact about movie trailers. They're comprised of footage that's not even fucking finished yet.
Yeah.
They haven't tweaked the special effects. And also, people who have the hard stances pretend that Fury Road was just a documentary, was actually real.
What do you mean it happened?
If you look in the behind the scenes...
That's what Australia is like all the time.
Yeah, but if you look at the behind the scenes, there are many sequences where they're filming locked off, and it looks like there's action happening behind them, but there isn't, because that would be remarkably unsafe.
Yeah.
So to see these people judge this movie so hard with little information, and before it's even come out, it drives me up the wall. It's a similar thing, another Warner Brothers project. They just released the new Superman image.
Oh,
and everyone's
yeah.
like, oh, he looks all sad. This portrayal fails to install the hope the character is surrounded with.
He's got a collar, it's bad.
The movie's not even fucking done. They're still filming it. They're not even done editing. It's one fucking photo just to generate some hype. And everyone's acting like it's all gone to shit. And I'm just getting sick and fucking tired of seeing all these people try to think, oh, I got great opinions, but making these hard stances before the movie's even come out yet. They're just ready to judge. They're ready to jump out with the thunder sticks, spray their mouths chrome, and just blow the whole thing up. And now, all that being said, I thought the movie was pretty great, and I stand by everything I just said. This was not just... like, the action was incredible, but, like...
The story,
like, it was it felt like a movie.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like we were sitting in there spending 2 hours. It felt like we were watching a film.
It went by surprisingly fast. Like, I felt like, I was like, I know it's 2 hours.
2 hours,
But I was
28
like,
minutes,
okay.
the longest of the whole series.
Yeah. I was like, it feels like this like beginning part takes a long time, and they're like, nah, bitch, that's like halfway through the movie. I'm like, wow, all right, cool, let's go.
Yeah, there was a lot of time spent building all the characters and building this world. I was very impressed. I went in expecting, okay, at the very least, it's gonna be like, it's gonna be like Fury Road. It's gonna be entertaining. It's gonna be a lot of cool visuals, but it gives a lot more.
I actually really I almost kind of like it more than, I don't know if I'd say I like it more than Fury Road, but I kind of do in a weird way.
I think I like it better than Fury Road.
I think it has better building and overarching story than Fury Road, but Fury Road has the better like visual and grandiose feel to it.
Fury Road also is just such a tight movie,
Yeah.
where it's hard to you can just put that shit on,
Yeah,
You want
and just have a
action?
great day.
Well,
Yeah,
you add on the first one.
Yeah.
Like, you want a good,
they give
nice
you a
story,
different
flow.
I don't know, feeling like what you
Yeah.
want from a movie you would get from.
I think it's because Fury Road, like, George Miller hadn't made a movie on that level. I mean, yeah, of course, no, he had made that level, but the way it was...
Happy Feet? How dare you?
Right, I forgot about all the, like,
And the
hard,
sequel?
the stunt work and the explosions and the high-octane energy of Happy Feet. I forgot about that. But Fury Road, it felt like Miller was like, hey, I'm making a huge stance against action movies, and he went hard with the energy. It was just fast, fast, fast. Now this time it's like, well, I don't need to rush shit. I can just relax. Everyone's gonna watch this. Now I've earned it. And he just decided, I'm gonna let a story unfold. But yeah, I think Fury Road feels a lot grimier, dirtier, angrier, there's more fire behind it.
Yeah.
But I also like how this movie felt different.
It was everything I expected.
Yeah.
Out of the trailers and stuff, I was expecting a good movie, and that's what I came out with.
Yeah.
It's like you know, a good final opinion on it.
Yeah.
A lot more story, a lot more
plot heavy.
a lot more things going on a more personal level than just cars, explosions, like
Yeah.
let's get it on kind of thing, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, like there were still personal.
good.
Yeah, there were still personal touches in Fury Road, but this felt like they
Yeah.
went harder in on the personal moments.
Well, because you don't know much about Max's story in Fury Road, like, you know, like his whole childhood, like his whole like upbringing and shit like this.
I liked that it felt like here's the beginning, middle, and end. I didn't expect it to last as long as it did on the beginning part. I thought we were going to cut forward a lot faster, but I was cool with it.
Like this felt like when people talk about like, you know, the old B movie eras or the exploitation films that are all like, you know, post-apocalyptic. This was like the Lawrence of Arabia of apocalyptic movies. Like the way people feel about like Dune and everything like this. When it says a Mad Max saga, it truly felt like a saga, like an odyssey. Like there was a journey, and I really found myself getting so immersed into this world and into these characters. I wanted to learn more. I wanted to see more backstory. I want to see more things revealed. Because even though it's an origin story, there's still a lot of vague shit.
Oh, well, that's just kind of Mad Max in a nutshell. It's just like vague references to things that exist.
I fucking love that, you know? We don't need to be spoon-fed all the world stuff. We can infer. Like, we understand, it's a fucked up world. Someone says something, you're like, okay, that probably relates to something like this that goes on. This is just their life.
Well, my thing is that, like, when they do it vaguely, it's not like, oh, well, now I don't know anything about what's going on. You're like, I get everything that's happening. There's no confusion. It's just, I don't need to know about that because it's not important to the story.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah, no.
It just gives you like some background and understanding of something happened in the world before or is happening currently.
I thought it was fantastic. I was I guess because my expectations weren't low. My expectations were low until reviews came out, like early reviews, that were like, oh, it's like 100 fucking out of 100, 80 out of 100. And I'm like, okay, something's going on with this movie right now where people are like, this shit is dope as fuck. And then my expectations rose, but I was still blown out of the water by how good it ended up being overall.
Yeah, because you're worried, like, you know, it's a prequel to Mad Max Fury Road, and Fury Road is such a special, unique movie.
And I'm also assuming, like, a lot of it was made during COVID.
No, they didn't start filming until 2022.
Okay. So, I'm just gonna we're gonna have spoilers.
We're gonna go into spoilers.
We're
Okay,
going into
we're jumping into spoilers. If
I think
anyone's
we've talked
noticed,
vaguely enough.
yeah, if anyone noticed, like, there's a lot of restraint going on because we just want to get into the fucking meat.
It's
of
also
this
because I'm
shit.
like, I don't. Everybody considers spoilers different. Like everyone has different levels of what's a spoiler and what's not a spoiler. For someone like you, Aidan, anything could be a spoiler.
He doesn't even watch trailers.
yeah, like I didn't see any trailers for this movie. I didn't see any reviews. The only review I saw was Edgar Wright's, but I was like, okay, well, he's not gonna say this movie's shit.
Yeah,
So I mean,
that'd be fucking funny if he did though.
he's garbage.
I actually hated Furiosa. I regret getting Anya Taylor-Joy to be in that movie. But we're getting into spoilers, so
All right, so let's get into spoilers. All right, let's talk about the characters, because
Okay.
a lot of this movie is it's all about character. So
I definitely think we
it's
should
for-
start with the titular character.
Yeah, what do we think of Anya Taylor-Joy as Furiosa?
Pretty fucking good. I mean, you couldn't have got someone to do a better job, I think.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think there's a single other person who I'd be like, oh, you should probably have gotten this person. I was like, like, it felt like you were watching the original from Fury Road. Like,
Yeah.
all the mannerisms and shit and the way she spoke, like, I was like, this is just fucking Furiosa.
Yeah, but she also brought something new to it. Like, Anya Taylor-Joy, I think she's a wonderful actress. I love what she can do just with her eyes. Like, she's such a great, just visual, her facial expressions. Like, she's a very good, like, quiet performer. Like, and a lot of this role, like, she only speaks 30 times in the movie. She only has 30 lines.
Were you counting?
No, I just know this.
I think because like I would say this movie has the most dialogue from any of these Mad Max movies I've ever seen, and it's literally all from one character.
I was thinking that throughout the movie. I was like, wow, they talk a lot in comparison to the last one. Like, you know,
But it's only
they
really
talk a lot.
it's only really the
Everyone's
one
talking
character.
though. Like, it's most other people talking, but like, you know, like in Fury Road, there's like no talking.
It's like barely anything.
Yeah, well, that's because like when George Miller wanted to make Fury Road, he wrote Furiosa. Like this whole story existed prior to Fury Road, so he had the whole thing mapped out.
That earlier.
Yeah,
Well, actually, like, because after seeing it, and they basically, it's like Rogue One, where they just fucking immediately go into Fury Road, and you're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
You could just watch this shit back to back and have the greatest, like, 4 hours of your life.
yeah. So everything you see in this movie that thinks, oh, this makes me think of Fury Road, that's because it was all planned.
I'm assuming, and I might just be stupid for saying this, but I'm assuming the ladies on the motorcycle on Fury Road are the people from, like, that's her settlement people.
Oh yeah, the badass motorcycle sniper ladies who are like the best
Who are
motorcycle
basically
sniper
badass
ladies at the
motorcycle
start of the
sniper
movie.
ladies.
Yeah,
Beginning of the movie.
yeah, no, those are their people. But that is the cool thing. We get to see the Green Place. I loved seeing a bit of that culture. I like seeing how they're very like capable people, even though they have like this little home. And yeah, but going back to Furiosa's journey.
They were more than capable, too.
Yeah,
They were kicking ass
It
and taking names.
explains why she's so good. Like the fact that she's able to, at many times during the movie, pull off shit where it's like, how did nobody see or hear? She's a wasteland ninja.
Yeah.
Essentially, she's a wasteland ninja. But in Anya Taylor-Joy, like I didn't once look at it and think, oh, that's Anya Taylor-Joy cosplaying as Furiosa.
I was worried about that because Anya Taylor-Joy does not look like an apocalypse person.
No.
She looks like
a dainty Victorian lady.
Yeah.
She looks like an elf. She looks like she would belong in like a Tolkien universe.
Lord of the
Like she would be a
Rings.
great like ethereal kind of person.
Actually, I would say she'd be a great Galadriel if they were ever to do another Lord of the Rings like redo.
The Galadriel, she's the one that gets scary for a moment.
Yes.
Yes.
It's scary for a moment.
Well, yeah,
wow.
That's pretty apt.
That's what I remember her as. Kate Blanchett
Yeah.
suddenly getting all,
Because she's very
I'm
like
the queen!
like beautiful lady, and then can get really fucking terrifying just the way she looks with her eyes.
Yeah. The journey she goes on is really badass. It kind of harkens back to the very first Mad Max, how it was just a revenge story.
Yeah. It felt a lot like that first Mad Max movie. Not as like goofy or campy.
Yeah, or shittily made because it was like mostly paid with beer.
Yeah.
You gotta try to do everything you can to make this entertaining little movie.
I feel bad because I fucking love Mad Max, but I've seen I've seen the first one, but I haven't seen the third one. But I tell people do not watch the first one because it's just so like, watch it if you really want to, but it's like you don't need to watch it to get the character. Like
No.
the second one is where you need to start for the interesting stuff to happen.
Yeah, like the first Mad Max, like I always say, like, you know, skip it. Like look at how the movie was made because that's the fun part of the first Mad Max movie. And for Mad Max 3, watch the first 45 minutes and then just shut it off because after that it becomes Mad Max and the Lost Boys, and I'm not really into that. It gets kind of like
Yeah.
All right, now what? Let's talk.
Well, before we fully continue on, do you guys have anything more to say about Anya Taylor-Joy? Anya, whatever?
No.
No.
All right, Chris
I don't wanna-
I thought he did a good job.
I loved him. I thought he was fantastic.
I think this might be the best performance of his whole career.
I think he might be one of the
Maybe
best Mad
second
Max
best.
villains of the series.
Yeah, because there's so much of him.
Because, like, Immortan Joe was awesome because he didn't say much and was just, like, a very imposing dude who was kind of, like, you could tell he was falling apart at the seams.
But you can
He
also
already
tell
is.
with Immortan Joe, like, he clearly has such a big character because he has all these people just following him without him doing
Without
anything.
any, like, lapse in loyalty
Yeah.
at all.
Yeah, like through the visual language, you're able to see, like, yes, this guy's a god. Essentially, is how we're
Yeah.
viewed
Even when
in Fury
Chris
Road.
Hemsworth rolls up and is like, I'm taking your shit, he's like, do it, pussy.
Yeah.
He's like, pick a war boy.
Yeah, the way I see it, like this movie, like kind of portrays like Immortan Joe. I think in the context, like he's shown as like a god, whereas Dementis, which I think is the name of this character,
Yeah.
he's
He was
like
listed as, like, for some reason, when I think I looked it up, and he was like Dr. Dementus or something, which kind of threw me off.
Oh yeah, they did do that for a bit. Like he was Dr. Dementus.
Which is an awesome name. It sounds like some fucking like...
Well, I mean, all the names in this movie, like there's the organic mechanic.
Yeah.
Who returns from Fury Road, and we also got the bullet farmer. Like no one
Yeah.
has who also returns, but no one has real names. They just kind of have jobs.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a Kojima situation. But yeah, like Hemsworth as Dementus, he was kind of like a Caesar, you know, like those Greek rulers, like a.
And they do a good job.
Like the monkey?
Yeah, like
They do a good job of showing it with his cape, like, and the colors changing throughout the
Yeah.
movie.
And his ride was the carriage.
Oh, dude, the
Oh, the
chariot was
chariot.
so cool.
fucking sick. I saw so many memes talk about how him with like the ginger beard and hair and the chariot's like, oh, he looks more like Thor than he ever did in the MCU.
Probably the most charismatic, like, outwardly charismatic Mad Max villains. Because, like, a lot of the other ones don't really say a lot.
No,
like, you
like-
got Humongous, I think,
Or
from
Humongous
2.
talked a lot, yeah.
Yeah.
In comparison to Mad Max villains. And the Toe Cutter in
Yeah.
the first one.
I didn't really love Toe Cutter, though, because he just felt kind of like Insane Man.
Yeah, but
He wasn't interesting enough.
because I think just
He did
'cause
better
it's,
as a Morton Joe.
Yeah, that's the thing. The actor does such a great job as the Toe Cutter. Like, he just commits 125% to how
He
insane
does way
has to
better
be.
than Mel Gibson in that first movie.
Yeah, well, I mean, Mel Gibson was just some guy who was getting into bar fights.
True.
And then he literally in that movie, like, he brought his buddy Goose, the buddy who plays Goose in the movie, to the audition. And he was all, like, fucked up because he had, like, bruises and he got into a bar fight. And the director was like, hey, you could be an extra. You could be one of the goons. Well, then when he showed up, all the bruises faded away and he was like young Mel Gibson, which, young Mel
He's
Gibson.
a handsome man.
I would fuck him. And George Miller looks at him and he goes, hey, do you want to be Mad Max? Because you look
said-
like a movie star.
Okay.
Yep.
But I thought he was a great menacing villain. Because
Mel
he wasn't.
Gibson?
No.
He was a bit villainous.
I was bringing it back to Chris Hemsworth. I thought he was really good at, like, he felt jokey and kind of like he had like the swagger to him.
Which is what Chris Hemsworth is really good at, I feel
Yeah.
like that's...
Oh, yeah.
It's-
He's a charismatic man.
It's almost like Chris Evans too,
Yeah.
where they're really good at playing villains because they're so charismatic.
Yeah.
And so like when they snap back into that role, you're like, damn.
I was like, wow, they can perform. But there's like some stuff going on with Dementus. Like there's that teddy bear that's attached to him that he keeps kind of referring to like his past, and there's some moments where he gets all like he's inflicting violence and he actually gets kind of shaky and distraught.
Like the PTSD's hitting him.
Yeah, like he doesn't want to be doing this, but he has to be doing this if he wants to survive. And I like that throughout the movie. Like everyone's just kind of doing what they can to fucking
also-
survive.
I thought it was interesting how like the way he was changed the minute he took Gastown, because like he felt a lot more lighter as a person when he first was trying to take over the Citadel, and then after the
Right.
time skip, it's like, whoa, this guy feels a little bit darker, and like he doesn't give as much of a shit like he used to.
Like he's insane. Like he's kind
Yeah.
of gone off the reservation. I think that's to
Like he
show
sort
like
of had his faculties before that happened, but was kind of losing that part of him, and then just it was gone after that.
yeah, it's kind of like showing like characters as they grow into power, the power corrupts them, and like they lose it. Because when he just had all his people and they're just living in the desert, yeah, they were
He
scavengers.
seemed like kind of a good dude.
Well, because he wasn't trying to like take over the Citadel because he wanted power. He was like, my people need shit. Like my people need to eat and drink.
Yeah, then it became more like, wait, we can rule the wasteland, we can rule the world, we can
Yeah.
take it all.
Like it
he-
immediately corrupted him within those couple, 15 years, I think it was.
yeah, however long
Immediately 15 years.
however long it took for that tree to grow into that wig, which was a cool way to show time
It
passing.
was.
There's a lot of cool little tricks like that throughout.
I mean, it's George Miller. He's very like, he's such a visual filmmaker where you're just like, anytime he has a chance to do something like that, he does it. And you're just like, fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah, just
That's badass.
doesn't give a fuck.
You don't need to flash a time card that says like 15 years later. It's like, you see the tree grow and you're like, how long has it been? I don't fucking know. And then I
They'll
think
say it eventually.
Yeah, when she does say it, it doesn't feel weird where it's like, there was a time skip of 15 years. It's just like, 15 years ago, you fucked up
Yeah.
my mom. And you're like, oh, okay, so it's been 15 years. Dementus almost feels like the dark version of Max, in a way. Like a dude who's lost everything, but instead of just kind of like... Because Max never really does anything overtly evil.
No.
He's just kind of like looking out for himself, whereas Dementus was doing objectively evil things to survive.
Yeah. And also, like, Lord Humongous, the villain, like, there's sort of an illusion, like, you know, he might have lost some people, like, he grabs the revolver, and there's a little photograph. Like, oh, what's that all about? And,
but it's because it's Mad Max 2, they were super fucking subtle about that shit.
Yeah. It's very, very quick, and that's what I love about, like, the Mad Max movies. Even though they're fucking over the top and insane, there's a lot of nuance going on, which is...
I think that's what allows them to have the nuances, that they can go so over the top with, like, action shit.
Yeah.
To the point where they can throw in those little nods and you're like, oh. It's like an action movie, but there's a little depth to it. Where it's not just like... it's kind of like Die Hard in like a more deep way, where it's like, it's an action movie, but there's still, like, a little bit of character and, like, depth there, where it's more interesting to watch than just, like, another action type movie. Like, even if you go to, like, the later Die Hards, it's like the same situation.
Yeah, because you can
where
say...
it's an action movie just on the surface and there's nothing really else there.
Yeah, because you can say, like, the first Die Hard movie's it's about a cop trying to fight terrorists in a building.
My favorite Christmas movie.
It's also about a guy who's trying to repair his marriage and get his family back.
Yeah. Anybody else got anything to say about Chris Hemsworth?
He's a great asshole, and I hope he plays more assholes in the future.
That's my favorite part about the Marvel guys kind of getting other contracts, is they're starting to do weird shit now, because they're just like, I got fucking bank. I don't need to do any... It's like Daniel Radcliffe, where he was just like, I did the Harry Potter movies. I got enough money to live on. I'm going to do some weird shit before I go.
I'm going to also shave my head. I'm going to yell the N-word a bunch.
Yeah.
Well, I mean...
It's from his movie Imperium. He plays an undercover cop. That's not...
I was like, when the fuck did this happen?
It was for a film role, just to get the context. But yeah, the guy who they got to play Immortan Joe for this movie, I think he knocked it out of the park.
Was it a different guy?
Yeah.
I think he did. I honestly couldn't
tell.
tell.
I would hope it was a different guy, because the other guy died 5 years ago.
They
So
resurrected him. They threw him in the Lazarus pit.
you didn't know he died?
I might have forgot.
You definitely forgot.
I was like, this is the same guy.
No, it is...
I could tell it was a different guy.
Because the other guy was a 70-year-old man when he played him, and that guy has a very smooth face.
It's also been like...
he got a lot of Botox.
Like, I guess I haven't seen it recently enough to be like, oh, that's not the same guy. Because I was just like, this is the same motherfucker. He looks great. For a dead guy, he looks fantastic.
I like that we got to see Immortan Joe more as a leader, as a tactician. Like, he was actually planning through the situations, and he was sorting through, like, whatever kerfuffles that they had to get their way out of. And he never faltered. He was take charge, no hesitation. Like, nope, this is what we're doing. This is what we're doing.
I mean, he didn't do the best job, though, considering the war went on for 40 years, or 40 days or whatever.
Yeah.
And it didn't look like they were going to win.
No.
Not that they were going to lose, but it was going to keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think...
If it wasn't for Furiosa, it probably would have lasted longer.
Yeah, but I don't think there was... No matter what you did, they even show it, like, there was going to be a war regardless.
Yeah.
I think that he actually made the right call, because it lasted 40 days, whereas if they did, like, his fucking Scrotus's idea, they probably would have died immediately.
Well, I'm not saying you follow Scrotus. It's Scrotus.
It would have been a 5-day war.
I want to talk about Scrotus, actually, because Scrotus character
is D's nuts.
Brought from the Mad Max video game.
Okay.
/ comics.
Yeah, because I was wondering, because I was like, I feel like one of these guys didn't appear in the next movie, and I am pretty sure, even though I haven't played Mad Max recently, that he was in the game.
Yeah, it was Scrotus. Yeah.
Which is pretty hype.
The game
the whole
is
time,
sick.
Yeah, because I was going to say, the whole time I was watching the movie, I'm like, fuck, I got to replay the Mad Max video game.
Yeah. Yeah, and the actor who plays Scrotus in this movie also played Slit in Fury Road. He was like Nux's guy who was like, he was scanning the horizon.
Yeah, I assume because it's George Miller that, like, there's probably going to be a lot of recycling of cast members from previous movies. Like, it's like the guy from, the helicopter guy from Mad Max 2.
Oh, yeah, the fucking...
being a similar character, but a whole different guy in the third one.
Yeah.
Which tripped me up watching the first chunk of that.
Yeah,
it made me turn it off because I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, because the first one, he's just some weird scrapper guy who's like a pilot. And the second one, he's also a pilot, but he's got this fucking boy.
Yeah.
And he meets up with Max, and they don't have a moment like, you again? They're just like, no, I'm a different guy altogether. It's like, oh, but
It's like, okay.
there's no effort to make you look different.
So I just assume that there's like
at least
a lot
in Morton
of
Joe
repeat-
and Toe Cutter, they put a fucking mask over
Yeah.
Burns' face so you couldn't tell.
Yeah, it was pretty hype seeing all the like extra characters that haven't appeared in the movies specifically.
Yeah,
and by that I mean probably the one that I noticed, and there might be more that I haven't.
Like, but the Bullet Farmer is back, and he's fun.
Oh,
He's still got his eyes.
Not for long.
something happens.
Oh, Rectus is also back,
Yeah,
which is
a
really
little
fun.
creepier than I remember him being.
Yeah, so there's the scene in the movie where he looks at Furiosa's tattoo or whatever, and I thought they were going to do more with that.
Yeah,
Because he looks at it and he's like, what's this? And I thought he was going to like recognize her at some other point, but they just didn't do
but they
anything.
just never.
I think
The whole bit was really uncomfortable.
Him being like, oh, a child.
Let me play with your hair.
Well,
Yeah.
it's not that. It's more. Well, that wasn't that. I think it was more like, oh, there's this girl in the movie. They say she was the first full life they had ever fucking
Yeah.
seen. She was untouched, and he has tubes all over his face. So he's like, oh, and she's got these weird like little jingles in her hair. It's like, what's going on here? And then also the tattoo isn't just a tattoo. It's a fucking map to
Yeah.
something. So like,
Well-
okay, what's going on here? And then when she bolts, I just love when he's like holding like the fake wig that she used to get away, and people look at him and he just hides behind his back like a teddy bear, like nothing.
Nothing.
I'm just looking.
Like you
Throws
know, you're
it.
jiggling.
Well, because he's not supposed to have taken her out.
Yeah.
No, it's like it's like, hey, Rectus, what are you doing? Nothing.
I'm also
Just looking, just hanging out.
Just something that I've always been a little confused about in the Mad Max universe, that like so many like I'm assuming at some point like a nuke had to have been dropped or something. Or some kind of crazy radiation is just like fucking people up.
I think it's implied.
Yeah.
I also think that you get messed up during the time. Also, I think in Morton Joe, he was just so fucked up. I think he has terrible genes, so
Well,
he
of
has to
course.
find the most pure woman to counteract his fucked up fucking pumper lung genes that he's got
Yeah.
going on.
If she's like the perfect thing, like their first full life, nothing's happened to her, you would think he would care a bit
be
more
more care.
if she does.
Yeah, there's
this.
that. I think he probably reprimanded Rectus after the fact.
Yeah.
I just think maybe it was one of those things that it wasn't that important to the story.
Probably not. They probably didn't want to focus on it. It's just like a little like.
Yeah, it must
Yeah.
have not been, because again, this is 2.5 hours, and
It was already a lot longer than
they
Fury Road.
and Warner Brothers gave George Miller a blank check, like, look, do whatever the fuck you want. So if he wanted to
Fury
put
Road
it in
made
there,
us
he
so
would
much
have put it
goddamn
in
money.
there.
It's also just me though, and that kind of thing sticks out a little bit to me because then my brain's trying to fill in all the little gaps.
Yeah.
Which
Stop
I mean, I guess
fucking doing it.
I can't.
Stop fucking doing
I'm
it.
just built that way.
Ruining
Don't
cinema.
think, consume.
Don't think,
Consume.
consume. Consume. Scrotus was also pretty fun.
Yeah, I thought all the big Stronghold Wasteland leaders were pretty fucking cool to see, like gathered up and actually doing shit. It was really cool seeing Gastown,
Gastown, which also was in the video games too.
Yeah.
There's a whole
because it's like,
Gastown. Yeah, I was like, oh, there it is. There it is.
and it looked awesome. It was super striking because it was like pitch dark when they show it. Now you just see all the lights and stuff, and you're like, whoa.
The lights and the smoke rising up and the fire. Yeah, like I love that we get to, because all the other Mad Max movies, they always focus around like one settlement at a time because it's all they have the fucking money for. And so, but with this one, it's just like, wait, we're showing you 3 fucking settlements.
It felt so much more like epic as a movie in like the literal term of epic, where it's just like you see so much more of the world
Mm-hmm.
and how big it kind of is compared to the other movies, because the other movies are so, like you said, focused on one settlement at a time.
Yeah.
And focused on the specific story at hand, whereas this one it was like, oh, there's like so much shit going on all over.
I want to talk about another character.
I'm gonna talk about the character Mad Max 2.
Yes, I want to talk about Praetorian Jack. What do you guys think of him? Because I still need to.
I thought he was fucking awesome.
Right?
Because to me, his inclusion kind of made Furiosa's story even sadder.
Yeah.
Because you're like, because when you watch Fury Road, you're like, I really like that they're not like romantically involved, Max and Furiosa, because it feels like there's no need for that in that story.
Yeah, it was more of like a brothers in arms kind of thing.
And it's not like I don't want to say it's a romantic thing between her and Jack.
no, but it's definitely closer.
But there's definitely some like love there where they cared for each other and they had each other's backs, and you're like, I like seeing that. Just like,
Yeah, it was a different kind of love story, and I like that he was so very much like they make it very clear, like, this guy is he's so Max.
Yes.
In so many ways. And that makes
even his armor.
Yeah, like the shoulder pad, which I wonder, like, which I get, like, from filmmaking perspective, yeah, you want to make the guy look like Max because you want to be reminiscent of the character, so that way Fury Road has more of a meaning to, like, why she and Max kind of, like, click. And which I also think is interesting because both examples, Furiosa has helped these bitter, cynical, fucking grizzled men realize, oh, you know what? Maybe there is some good in the world that I can fight for.
Even though she's only full of hatred and revenge.
Which I think is such an interesting thing. Like, there's something about it, because she's so much about preserving this one nice thing that these other guys just kind of, like, gravitate towards her.
Yeah, because I'm assuming, like, Max lost everything, doesn't give a shit, is just kind of doing what it takes to survive. Yeah. Jack's probably the same thing, where he's just like, I don't care, lost my parents.
Yeah, because, if he really cared, he wouldn't be fucking working for Immortan Joe. Yeah. Like, the guy's actively been shown that he's a horrible leader. Everybody's miserable there. They only stay because the guy has a lot of water. But they have to cannibalize each other just to get by. So if you have any, like, moral backbone, you're not working for a guy like Immortan Joe. You're working there because, like, okay, he pays me and I'm good at what I do.
Yeah, but the minute Furiosa shows up, they're like, oh, there's more to the world. Like, there might actually be some bastions of sane humanity left.
Oh, the little war boy.
Oh, and, like, with the cabbages.
He was killing me.
That's sad.
It was sad. But
That's a real kid.
Is it?
Yeah, George Miller put in, like, a real kid who was, like, getting bullied or whatever, and so he put him in the movie as that guy.
That's pretty cool, actually. That's a nice little fucking factoid. I always like how they characterize the war boys, because they're, like, kind of batshit crazy, but, like, every time we see them not in murder mode, you're like, man, I feel so bad for these guys.
Because they're just regular people.
Yeah.
I like how, like, I was thinking a lot about the Fallout games. Because I like how there's moments where people just they literally steal the armor and clothes off of dead bodies and put it on. And I was like, this is just like a video game.
Fallout, the first Fallout, because I've been watching a lot of Tim Kaine, who was one of the original, like, he was basically the guy who, like, spearheaded Fallout becoming a thing. Because it was like a little mini side project that he started at Interplay. And a big inspiration when I was watching a talk of him and Leonard Boyarsky, who was the artist, like one of the lead artists on that game, was Mad Max. Like, Road Warrior, they just watched on repeat in the office when they were making the game. And so, like, Fallout is essentially just Mad Max, and Mad Max is just essentially Fallout. Like, they're so, like, interconnected to me.
Yeah.
And that's all I was thinking the whole time, too. I was like, it's fucking I was thinking of the Fallout show, actually, just because,
Yeah. I also love how it shows, like, in different ways, like, how you could die. Like, because, like, if the scavengers aren't going to get you, if bullets aren't going to get you, if fire's not going to get you, if sandstorms aren't going to get you, a fucking sinkhole will get you.
Yeah.
Because there's a moment in the movie where a sinkhole takes a bunch of people. I went, oh, fuck, I forgot about sinkholes.
There's a lot of dangerous shit in the wasteland. Anything can get you. It doesn't have to be. It could even be fucking, like, dying of exposure out in without your equipment.
Yeah, you're not even safe if you're a lizard, because you either get rolled over
or eaten by Mad Max.
Yeah, stomped on and eaten.
You fucking laughed at me because I was like, "Oh, lizard," and then I was immediately like, "No!"
I was like, I knew it the minute you said, "Oh, look, the lizard." I was like, that bitch is gonna die.
Anytime they ever show a close up of a little thing walking along, it's like something's gonna happen. It's either gonna get scared or someone's gonna eat that
giant fucking car is gonna roll over them. Because I liked how much time they spent, like, building up Furiosa's, like, childhood.
That little girl did a great job.
Yes.
Yeah, honestly, I would say even over Anya Taylor-Joy, she was a standout as, like, a fucking, like, just great at being Furiosa.
Yeah, which, fun fact, they actually used AI on her.
Did they?
Yeah, this is according to Anya Taylor-Joy. She said on the Kelly Clarkson show. But she said, like, they actually used AI to kind of make the complexion a bit more similar.
Yeah.
Which is interesting to hear, because, George Miller very famously said that he wasn't going to cast Charlize Theron because, well, he was thinking about casting Charlize Theron using de-aging technology. And then he saw The Gemini Man starring Will Smith. He was like, fuck no, I can't.
He saw The Irishman and was like, it's not there yet.
We're not there yet. You can clearly tell I'm not going to do this.
Yeah.
I love the history man. We didn't talk about him during characters, but I love seeing the history people.
Yeah,
Like how they
that's
have all
one of my favorite parts about Mad Max.
the world lore tattooed on themselves. I think, and he's looking at it with the little magnifying glass.
He's reading it up. He's making sure he's all kept up. I always think that, Because that's the thing about Mad Max is it's such like it's almost like an alien world.
Yeah, it's so...
Where you can see where it connects to like normal society, but it's so different.
Yeah, it's so rich and detailed and thought out. It kind of feels like a angrier Dune.
To tie back to what you were saying in your rant when we started.
Yes.
When I saw the trailer, I was like, I don't like how CGI-ish it looks. Like, it looks like a lot of it was done on a green screen. But actually watching it, it's like the opposite. Where I'm like, this just feels like Fury Road. Like, it literally doesn't feel like it was done on a green screen.
Yeah, it's because the trailer like shows all these close-ups of like during the action. And if you look at Fury Road, like again, they filmed it locked off on the vehicles, and then they animate stuff behind. Like there's use of green screen and visual effects in Fury Road, and when you look at this movie, it's the same thing. I felt like the camera angles were a lot smoother.
Yeah.
Like there was a lot more wide sweeping. Like Fury Road is a lot more, like I love it, but it felt a lot more intense. Whereas this, it felt like they were pulling back, and the music was also a lot more subtle. I feel like it was more about, you weren't getting overdriven. Like whoa. Because Fury Road is like, it's a sensory overload. Like it pumps you full octane. Like you're
because you're on the Fury Road.
Yeah, you feel the fury of the road.
That's what I think is that Fury Road's so like action packed, no time to breathe. Basically, that it's very like it's shot tighter.
Yeah,
closer in.
Oh, the one scene like. Okay, so first off, I love the aerial stuff that they were doing when they tried to take the rig the first time.
Yeah,
the fucking propellers.
It was so good. But then right after, when she's just on the road, it goes dead quiet in the theater. It was so good.
There were so many moments like that where you're just like,
because
wow.
it felt like, oh, she's actually in the middle of the wasteland.
Yeah.
Like it's like, oh, I'm not in a place. I'm not going anywhere. I'm fucking lost here.
But it was nice too, because there were moments where the characters were like, "Do you hear that?" And you can hear the motorcycles.
Yeah, you could actually hear
going. And it was like, because it felt like they needed that silence, so that way when there was stuff going on, you're not like, I don't know, I kind of hear a bunch of random shit and music going. So the aerial stuff was really cool, because I just like seeing how everyone fights in the wasteland, because everyone has a different idea.
Yeah, everyone's gonna have a different style.
And seeing the fucking like parachutes open up, you're like, whoa, dude, that's fucking sweet. And they're just throwing shit down at them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes so much. Yeah, you look at it, you're like, oh, this is how these people have adapted to certain convoys and certain skirmishes.
Yeah.
Some groups are gonna look at how other groups fucked up and think, well, okay, well they messed up like this. Well, we just take it.
They didn't have parachutes, therefore bad.
They didn't have the high ground.
Well, it makes total sense that you would go aerial in a car-related world.
Yeah. Instead of getting your car fucked up and having people like throw thunder spears at you.
Yeah, when you have a 20-ton truck versus your little car, that truck's gonna flatten you.
But if you can get up and start raining down fucking
what are you gonna
hellfire.
do, flatten me in the sky?
Yeah.
And then they just start shooting harpoons and then you're fucked.
It's probably also different with like Immortan Joe. Like he's clearly well geared, so like other people in the wasteland aren't going to be that well geared. So if you're in the air, they can't do anything to you.
Yeah, you have the advantage.
Yeah.
I will say it was pretty fucking hype to see Guitar Guy again.
For like the 2 seconds.
Yeah, I got more excited about that than I did when I saw Max. Yeah, make his cameo. It was fucking
I was like, finally,
great.
the real main character of Mad Max.
Like, boom, the real protagonist.
But to wrap it up, Liam, would you recommend people watch Furiosa?
Yes.
Yes. Coleman.
Yeah, but I would like to add something.
Yeah.
George Miller said he wants a Mad Max game done by Kojima, which would be cool, but I hate the slander put on the one that already came out.
Yeah, listen, who made that? Was it Avalanche?
Yeah.
I think people, I don't think there's any slander on it.
You know what?
Every time
fuck
I hear
Furiosa. Let's talk about the Mad Max video game right now. Mad Max video game is fucking amazing, and anyone who hasn't played it, you are missing out. It is one of the best open world combat RPGs ever.
I remember playing it at your house, and I had one of the best fucking times of my life. Just fucking vibing in the wasteland, building up my car.
It's so fun.
It's the Arkham games, but you get to break motherfuckers' necks and stab them in the throat.
You want to know
It's
the
awesome.
worst part about him saying he wants Kojima to do it?
What?
The reason the Mad Max game failed was because Phantom Pain came out the same day. So it's Kojima's fault.
Oh my god. Yeah, but like, to be fair, when you're competing with the fifth Not even. It's
Yeah,
not even the 5th.
so why
it's like
wouldn't
the
they be
biggest
like-
installment of
Why
Metal Gear
wouldn't Warner
Solid.
Bros. Be like, oh, we'll delay it a little bit?
Yeah, because people do that. Because I think there's a couple games where like they were accidentally going to release in the same day as like a Call of Duty, and they're like, I would love if Avalanche got another chance and made a Furiosa video game.
Yeah.
Even though I don't think there's much else to do with the Furiosa.
I
character.
don't want a Furiosa video game. I just want a Mad Max. Period. Like, not even like I want a game about Max. Fuck Furiosa. No, I love Furiosa. I just want a game set in that world. I just want to see that world again.
That game was so fun. They could.
But I think Furiosa, I
Honestly,
think we've
just
seen
expand
enough for
on.
a journey. I don't think we need more.
The game
I
was.
interrupted Coleman.
That's
Continue.
fine.
No, it's not fun.
Fuck you, Aidan.
They just need to like. They could honestly make the exact same game, like the same, like overarching like gameplay where like you just take down outposts and stuff, and then just add on new abilities like Spider-Man 2. Like that's all you have to do.
Same world, but just a
Yeah.
new set of guys have taken over again.
Avalanche, please do it. We love the game. We're sorry.
good.
We're sorry that it got tanked because of the fucking Metal Gear Solid and.
To be fair,
Konami's-
though, Metal Gear Solid 5 was pretty good.
it was, but Mad Max better.
Damn.
Mad
Take
Max
that,
better.
Kojima.
Yeah, suck on that.
Shouldn't have sold
Well,
the
I
world.
definitely not only do I recommend the game, I also would recommend this movie. It's fun. It's not just, oh hey, there's a fan servicey prequel. No, it felt like a film. If you took Mad Max off of it, all that stuff, if it was just Furiosa, it would be just as good.
If you like Mad Max Fury Road, if you like Fallout, if you like any post-apocalyptic stuff, I would say it's definitely worth watching.
Well, the Goons have spoken. This movie's worth watching.
The Goons have spoken. Movie good.
Go see it.
Video game good.
Good.
Consume.
Make another video game.
Consume. All right. That's pretty good.
All right, I'm fucking out of here. Fuck you guys.
All right. Well.